Hello everybody, welcome back to VR Master League here on Channel 1 for our next match, and definitely an anticipated one. It's going to be Phantoms coming off a win against Nonce Esports, aka Fusion, up until today, just being recently acquired there by French Esports Org, and that was match over on VRML Channel 2 that we just finished up here. Meanwhile, on 1, for those joining us or sticking around, just finished off Team Gravity versus Quackheads, where it was Team Gravity coming away with a victory as well. So these two, relatively speaking, unstoppable forces, but especially for Phantom's side of things, because they have literally not dropped a match at all this season. And, well, we're going to see if that continues here. So, on the casting booth, I'm Palidore, joining you guys with SirDimwi, who you just heard from, well, the last half hour, and combining forces for what we hope to be an exciting match.
This is Quackheads moments ago. Yeah, and if anyone's going to dethrone Phantoms, Gravity's among a very short list here. So I'm really excited to see what they're able to do against Phantoms.
Yeah, I was just kind of discussing that even with Boop over in Channel 2 a bit. There's, you know, very few teams, I think, in either region. I mean, any team that faces them have their hands full at all times. There's Torrent has a handful of the disc and goes for that clear. And it's just going to be interesting to see, especially going into the first score. Maybe Nilly Wick dunks it in. But I'm curious going into qualifiers and things like that. I mean, and into playoffs. You know, we have Team Gravity obviously on that short list. I would put Smash Dash right there as well. If Smash Dash is playing at their best, they're definitely a team capable of doing so. If we happen to see a surprise return maybe of some form of Blast or any kind of Boop team, I would automatically give them, you know, a chance as well. But there's a lot of intrigue there going to this final week and into the rest of the finals.
Yeah, and still some, I think some questions on, because the implications of who's going to get in and if there's going to be a bit of a race here in EU kind of comes down if they're going to be taking the top 6 or the top 7. I didn't actually see an answer on that yet, because there were implications of both, depending on where you look. So yeah, very curious to see how this is all going to turn out for EU.
Yeah, definitely. And Al Pacino just going to go for maybe a back out here. Eyed the cross pass. Viatrex, though, opting for an even better one for that first score on Gravity's side. Tied up here at 2 apiece.
Yeah, just good pass there from Gravity. That's exactly what they need to do against Team Phantoms. Really, both of these teams are the caliber of a team that that you'll notice when they get a turnover, when the other team makes a mistake, they have a tendency to punish on it every time. So both of these teams are able to do that. So both these teams got to watch out, and ultimately, I think this game is going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes.
Yeah, so I do like the fact that on that last offensive play, as a bunch of stuns go out in the tunnel, Team Gravity had maybe an initial look at a shot perhaps or a cross pass. It was a little dangerous, so they backed it out to Bowtie, then backed it right back in and got the goal as a result. It was a slightly higher percentage shot, and you know what? It got them the results they needed, just like that one from Simon, up by 2 now for Gravity.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. There was it starts with that the attempt to either pass it out or clear it out of the tube there, and it goes right in the hands of a player from Team Gravity. Team Gravity sends it down. They don't ultimately get there first, but they get the steal. They put it in. They punish that turnover, and that's exactly what's going to win this game.
Yeah, basically, that's the killer part of this is that you have to play just about perfectly. Because even when Phantoms have had a few times where they seem like, okay, maybe they're gonna lose one, they're gonna finally drop the game. Right here, trying to drop Phantoms with another shot. It just seems like they always come back and they always heal their wounds and they come back strong. And that's the result of the record you see here.
Yeah, this is I mean, just Phantoms and incredibly. Nobody goes undefeated for no reason.
Yeah.
It's they're very, very talented, very capable. We're really an incredible team.
So hearing someone calling for maybe a restart. I guess after this goal, perhaps. So someone having some sort of issues. Actually, there's a crash out there. So will be a 3-on-4 here for the defense. Team Gravity trying as they might. It will be Sundance getting the score.
That Team Gravity did not need that in that moment. They had the lead there 4-2 after punishing that Phantoms turnover, and unfortunately they have a player drop out. As they were on the other end, you could see I could see on the minimap it was number 17, and he 17 is still in actually, but I swear I saw number 17 crash out at that down by that
be Simon's
Phantoms
stacking buddy Lewis there.
Yeah, Lewis Ammo. So Lewis is one that dropped out. I thought it was in the Phantoms bubble, but now that I'm looking, 17. So maybe it wasn't in the Phantoms bubble. But I was fairly confident. We'll wait till he comes back. Maybe they have two players with the number 17 here.
Yeah, maybe.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, well, either or, we'll wait for them to get back in. For Lewis to get back here in this match all tied up. Off of that, quick visit to the chat. See Lulls are the best joining us in. Yeah, impressed by that 23-0 record from Phantoms. Reasonable. For I am better than you, it says, hey, how is everyone doing? Doing mighty fine. How are you? Is that name just your name in general, or is that reference to the Quest beta? I ask only because we've seen a ton of new people coming into the Twitch and especially on the Discord lately because of the beta hype. See Swift in there. Over from Nance Esports, saying, sad we didn't score, but GG's, and good games. I mean, it's one of those cases where, as I was mentioning just a moment ago too, every team in the league has had trouble with Phantoms here in this season. And if it was a cross-region tournament, it would still be the same thing. Phantoms, I do firmly believe, would be a top 3 or 4 team as well in North America. No question. They play too cohesively with both passing and stacking. So
yeah, they're so smooth. They're so crisp, smooth, accurate. It's they would absolutely be up there.
But of course, Team Gravity, as we know, they're a team who's been here for a long time, and dating back to the preseason when Phantoms were known as Backlash at the time. As a shot goes out for Team Gravity, might have been on there if Torin wasn't in the goal, but Torin is the one who's going to save that a lot of the time. But yeah, in preseason, it was Team Gravity kind of upsetting the Phantoms team, the then Backlash team, and taking those preseason championships by the end of it.
Yeah, they did. Good shot opportunity there, but it's going to bounce just wide. But I do see Kong in chat asking, is today the day? And I got to wonder what he means. And I also got to wonder if he just set me up for a burn.
Today the day, the record, I think, trying to maybe bait us into saying the caster's curse potentially. Either or, though, will be taken back here by Nillywick and going back in as 5 minutes, 30 seconds left in this first round. It is all tied up still as the competition is just so tight here, and the defense playing up really aggressively on both sides as well. So shot over to Al Pacino. It makes the 3. Are you with me, Dimwi? Or have you dropped?
I have not dropped, but I just need a minute or two.
Okay, no big deal. So 7-4 on that score. Team Gravity feeling pretty good. Kung saying in the chat, it's the day. Maybe. I'm not going to go with anything definitive until I see something definitive. I will not be responsible for any curses today, rest assured. But over here will be Simon going for the deep one, and we've seen a few of these now where Team Gravity, they do have the lead, but you'd figure they might be able to have even a bigger lead had it not been for some of these clears just kind of straight into the goal area where there's an awaiting defender. We've seen that, I think, 3 different times now in the last several minutes. So, you know, the passing play for Gravity going to buy them a lot of opportunities, just like Phantoms here going for a nice pass up to Torin, softly on up, and he just lays that one in right over the head of the goalie. So good assist by Nillywick there, and it's a 1-point match, 4 minutes.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Lul's asking, are they also undefeated in rounds? Chat already answered that for you, but yeah, no, not the case. They've been defeated in rounds a handful of times, but they always just close off somehow. Nillywick backs it out there. Lewis pressuring in the back lane. You can see the defense now all starting to cluster up in the bubble, just trying to deny Phantoms an opportunity because they love these kind of plays. You see Nilly lining himself up. You see the Nest as well. They got both angles lined up. That's some great defense from Team Gravity. Fantastic, in fact. They covered the backboard, they covered the barrier, and they covered the driver into the goal. All 3 of the high percentage opportunities I always talk about were completely covered there. They had nothing. So that was fantastic rotations and coverage by Gravity. That said, Phantoms trying to cover up this goal with the roll into it, with Maddie just getting the breakaway on the open one. And perhaps based on that Team Gravity defense, that's going to be one of the few ways they can get it done. But I really, again, have to hype up that defensive play. It is so tough defending, not to mention defending every spot so well and timing it perfectly so they had no options to go for. That said, though, they are going to be down by 1 here on Team Gravity, trying to get the disc back and maybe get some more points on the scoreboard. Go ahead again. I mean, only 2.5 left in this first round. Simon going for a deep clear, pass rather. A shot taken, but will be off on the Nest. Looks like some defense retreating now and heading off this pass. They have a little time to work with, going for that pass, going for the shot, couldn't convert on it, but rebounded by Simon, not for too long, headbutts it out of there. Lewis doling out a stun, short range leech from Team Gravity, so despite some missed opportunities there, trying to recover just based on the grabs and the speed alone. Now right back for Viatrex, Al Pacino. Heading off here to Lewis in the tunnel. And the aggression now coming out from Phantoms for sure. You can see 3 different players, 4 in fact, playing outside the bubble, conceding a 3, but doesn't pay for it. And that was very, very risky from Phantoms considering the lead that they had, and yet they were not scored on. So Team Gravity, they're getting the disc back for multiple opportunities. This must be their 3rd, 4th attempt of the sorts. They're sticking in here for the last minute and a half, and yet it's Phantoms playing super aggressively with a lead, and they still cause a turnover. And that is a danger of the Phantoms. They are able to do that because even when they play so aggressively in the midline, their stacks, their double stacks are so quick that they still manage to get back into the goal a lot of the time anyway. We saw some of that even in that last match on VRML Channel 2, I was mentioning it. This is what makes Phantoms dangerous and why I think in any region, at any level, they can definitely compete and can contest for those top slots. So whether in North America, even with its 30+ teams, I do believe Phantoms would be top 3. So there will drive now for that goal right to Nilly. Nice and easy. Took a little time there. I mean, almost 2 minutes off the clock. And Gravity had some great looks. But with that score, it's now a 3-point advantage for Phantoms in this first round. Team Gravity might need to consider themselves hitting that 3-point shot now with this much time left, and just knowing that the defense from the Phantoms, they don't really have time to stall. That said, there's a defense in the midline. They're not letting up on the aggression at all. There's the secondary boost coming from behind, and Torin getting loose for a grab, but Lewis slinging it in himself on accident. May have cost the goal, but with the time winding down anyways, it would have been tough, so the Phantoms will indeed be taking it away. 12-7 the first round, so close, and Gravity right up in there. Round 2 could still very much be anyone's match. All right, so we'll get those scores on the sheet for you. If and when you're back, Dimwi, just let me know. But we got 12-7 here. on that first round. And thank goodness the teams remembered to set the time, as I did not, off that restart, so they'll get it done for us there. And yeah, we'll head off to the score screen, take a look at the highlights, set the stats, and all that good stuff. If my percentages would save, that'd be awesome. One moment. Not my fault, I swear. All right, well, that's fine. Anyway, heading off to the Twitch chat. Let's see. See Swift, the highlight message, saying, "Come on, Gravity," cheering on Gravity. I'm sure everyone at this point, as we all know, as I well know in prior history, you go undefeated for an X amount of time. With each progressive week, people really want you to lose more and more. So it's no surprise. I mean, even from a spectator standpoint, you want to see it happen one day. I don't know if today's the day, but you want to see those competitive games, for sure. And
yes, you do.
Whenever Phantoms, hello Dimwi, whenever Phantoms do end up losing that first one, Twitch may very well lose their minds just a little bit. So let's go. And I am better than you, tag me, saying I love your commentary. Oh, thank you. And Dimwi, I love your commentary. I'm glad to have you back here for the second round.
Glad to be back as well. Yeah, I completely missed the second half of that first round. I'm really upset I missed it. Because, yeah, this is not a game to miss. And, oh, man, what a feed there. Torn into Nillywick. Nillywick looking at an empty net. Going to put that one in for the 2.
Yeah, so not missing on that one at all. That's a quick 12-second goal for them. Phantoms getting off here to the first score. And, well, as far as what you missed in that latter half, it was a case of Team Gravity. They had, first of all, some excellent defense. Well, no denying that. They had a couple good looks at the goal. High percentage shots that they just barely missed, and it ended up turning around almost for a boot shot, but right there, Maddie grabbing it and dunking it with some strength for that goal.
Yeah, goalie got a good read on that. He was actually coming out to get a grab on it, but Maddie is going to get there first and then swing it around the goalie there, pop it in for that 2. You could see on that replay that goalie was right there. And Maddie just got the hand there first and puts it in, and yeah, Phantom's now up by 4.
Boop saying, "Let's go, Phantoms. What a pass. I'll plan." Hard to tell sometimes. If that is just Boop being genuine or sarcastic, which is also genuinely Boop. Either way, Phantoms in general do have nice passing plays. Very much so. And as does Team Gravity here. Yet to be on the score sheet, and that's not going to do it there. We actually did see that from Team Gravity in the first round a bit. They threw a handful of those deep clears or shot attempts, perhaps, right down the middle. But Torin usually playing that back line deep there, and it's not really going to get Gravity enough opportunities if that's the case.
Yeah, but Gravity with another opportunity here. Looking at I don't have words. That one's going to get moved in, and oh, what a read there by Maddie. Maddie again. Maddie's playing so well here in this round, too. That one's going to get sent out. Nillywick taking a shot from the tube. Going to go wide, but into the hands of a player there who's going to ding it off the post.
Yeah, Maddie and Tor now linking up, trying to go for that clear, but on the boost immediately. You can see actually that stack from the Phantoms. It was already prepared well before that clear even went out. They were ready for it, and that's, again, the headiness of Phantoms. They're always prepared for the next move, whether it's on defense or offense. They're just right up on it. Now that said, there's Team Gravity with a shot attempting maybe off the backboard, but like I said, that stack is so quick, you barely even have time to squeeze through those good three-point shots. And there's again the stack, and again a shot attempt, but now another miss here on that opportunity.
So now we're going to get sent out, and Phantoms with a couple opportunities here, not able to make it happen. Maybe going to get another one here, or not, as that one's going to be now handled by Simon. So Gravity possibly going to turn this one into something they kind of need to. Still over 7 minutes to go, but down by 4. They want to get some points on the board because that's how it's almost like breaking the ice. It's hard to get that first one the longer it goes. And what a save there from Torin. And so the longer you go, the harder it gets. And they're looking to get one now.
It's even more difficult when you feel like you made the right play. I mean, that was a good quality shot, and yet it was just stuffed. So again, that's one of those that can even further the negative momentum, but trying to find their first shot finally. It's going to be off the backboard, so I like that move there. Al Pacino diving in, looked like he was just set to go head onto the goal. but then just slung it at his side right off the wall, and that will indeed be breaking said ice.
Yeah, it looked like goalie I don't know what the goalie was falling. Goalie came way out and wasn't even looking at that disc as it comes off the backboard. So I don't know what the goalie was looking at, but that definitely left that wide open there for that shot to go in. So good shot there. Obviously tricked the goalie. Ooh, maybe an opportunity here. Oh, just wide.
And Simon, that is not wide. That is right in the right spot. And that's a 1-point lead. So I think, Dimwi, exactly what you said. The ice was broken, and now they can kind of relax their shoulders and just play Team Gravity style Echo Arena, which is to say, nail the passes, hit the shots.
Yeah, and now with that one, they pull into the lead there because that was good for the 3. Good discipline there to keep that one behind the line. And now Gravity is looking to gonna try to build on this to try to be that team to take down the Titan.
Yeah, Titan is right, but as we all know, every now and then Titanic teams do tend to sink eventually, which again, as I know. But over here will be Sundance with the bow tie drive in. Gonna just eye the pass over to the shoulder, but Torin already prepared for it was Team Gravity. So stunning out Torin, getting a clear, but intercept by Maddie up high.
So Phantom's going to get a second opportunity here, maybe a third. Sundance sending that one in to Nillywick. Nillywick coming in on the goalie. Ooh. Excuse me, sending that one behind the goal there to Torin. Torin's going to put that one in right in the bottom corner there. Nice placement. And yeah, good for 2. And now Phantom's going to retake the lead here over halfway through.
Yeah, and very reminiscent too of the Kangarillas there. I like making that comparison. I consider them, and I think most teams would agree, best passing team historically, at least especially over the last year, if just ever for that matter. So when you look at that, they're a team who's known for passing to excess and success for that matter. And it's the same here as that shot goes out from Simon. That's just going to be a straight in goal again right on that corner. So taking the lead right back, Dimwi, and it's a close one.
Taking the lead for real with a 3 there, going up by 2. That was a beautiful shot from Simon over in that far side trap there. I mean, that's the kind of shot you dream about making in a competitive game.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big goal there, and now Phantoms maybe a little on their heels.
Yeah, and now that's a 3-point shots in a row for Simon. Some good stuns coming in from the stack here. Viatrex, a very good defender, and especially in the mid-line in terms of just covering off passing lanes, cutting off players with stuns. I mean, you can see him doing it there on the bow tie, just trying to pressure the lanes and just make sure the passes are not available if possible as he does approach here.
You can see right now, Gravity is allowing Phantoms to pass it around in the field there, and oh, beautiful feed there. Sundance to Maddie. I believe Maddie is the one that got the stun on the defender and got himself free. And yeah, as I was pointing it out, Team Gravity was allowing Phantoms to have the field, and they were just protecting their bubble, and it had been working. It's the kind of thing, that's the sort of setup you see where it ends up sometimes having that effect where you can stop them from getting into the bubble, but they keep getting it back, and they get 2-3 opportunities on your bubble. Eventually, they're going to get in. Yeah,
well, I saw on that one, too. I mean, that's the name of just as much as King, as I said. You're going to see that from Phantoms as well. They will play it slow, as well as Team Gravity, for that matter. I think that last goal at the time, too, just getting the breakaway off of a good stun there in the midfield. I talked about Viatrex, and I think he got stunned out there. And that's the dangers of the midfield play for any team. It's very, very punishing if you do decide to play midfield defense and you do get caught out. Your a defensive assignment just gets ahead by a few feet, or you get stunned out. That's pretty much a number situation in the goal if the other team can press upon it fast enough. And Phantoms are a team who can do so, trying to do so right there with a 3 as well. Nillywick from up high, getting that 3. I'm not even sure how he squeezed that through.
That was perfect placement. I mean, that was perfect placement. You see, it only came in at 14 meters a second. That did not, as far as I'm aware, that did not ding on the way in. That was an absolutely perfectly placed shot. And it looks like it caught the goalie off guard. And I know that, it's one of those things. Sometimes a long shot, the goalie's not expecting you to take it. So you can, if they're checking around, they're looking at coverage, looking at where your teammates are, you can catch them off guard. And I think that's what happened there. And that one was good for the 3. That was a beautiful shot there. Yeah,
it's definitely something you'll see teams pull out strategically in a sense. I know it's almost what's the word I'm looking for? It's it's not conducive to what you refer to when you're saying meta, like, oh, you have to be patient, you have to always be patient, look for the highest percentage shots, look for the cross passes. And yes, that is true most of the time, but you're exactly right. Sometimes you can pull off the unexpected, and you can throw in the unexpected threes, you can throw in some of these jukes that teams are so good at defending these days. And as long as you're not doing them all the time, it is something that you can kind of pull out of your offensive repertoire here and there to buy yourself some otherwise unexpected and quick goals. So... And yeah, Wit saying that's Ryan's move. Exactly. Team Joker is usually the go-to team for that kind of stuff a few times per game.
No, and I mean, that's exactly why we tend to call it.
Oh,
I've
boy.
given the name of Reliable Ryan, and oh, yeah, upsetting ding there.
Yeah, that's another one we've seen. So that happened towards the end of the first round. They had a chance to tie, and they'll still get it. Simon. So that was a very precarious situation, and Simon just undoing any errors with the very crucial goal. But that goal, again, from Phantoms, we saw that in round one, and I kind of pointed it out. Phantoms were playing almost surprisingly aggressive when they had the lead in the final minutes, and they didn't pay for it. That time, they kind of did. Granted, the game is not over yet, but we could be eyeing an OT unless Phantoms act very, very quickly on this rollout up to the ceiling, cut off by Al Pacino. Very crucial there. And almost even maybe rolling to the goal, but it will be an OT indeed.
Well, see, the thing about that goal that was scored there, the one we saw earlier, the goalie was straight up out of the goal in the goal earlier. This one, the goalie was in the goal, but for whatever reason, he had taken himself up above the goal, and maybe to make a call out, maybe he was trying to read a pass, but that's what left that bottom side so open for that shot. That was a beautiful shot.
Absolutely.
Overtime.
All right, we'll see. These sometimes end quickly. It will be actually Sundance there first, but the back stack, the double stack, in fact, from Team Gravity now kind of rushing a little bit on the clear. Some good shields coming through, some shots coming through. Torin cutting it off, though, and he's coming through on the defensive line. On the other end, there's the back stack, getting back to the front and back again for another shot to end the OT. Simon, 14-11. We're going to a third round.
Wow. I mean, that shot there from, that was Simon, right? Yeah, Simon. That shot there from 30 meters out in that tube. Full confidence you could see the body language there. Full confidence as he took that shot. He knew the moment that disc left his hand that was going in. And it did. That was a beautiful shot there. And yeah, as you point out, we're going to game three. Game three against Phantoms. Gravity, as it was a Kong in the chat a couple minutes ago saying, is today the day? So guys, 28 people in the chat. 28 people watching. Guys, put the word out. Today might be the day. Get people in here because this is when a team goes 23-0.
Today is a day. I want to be very, very careful, Dimwi. Very careful.
It is a day. Well, as I said before, I am not superstitious. I'm only a little stitious. And so today is a day. Even though I know I like to play it up a little bit sometimes.
I wasn't superstitious until VRML happened.
No, because there are times where you say something and immediately, I mean, the cast is cursed. It happens. We witness it. Significant, but whatever. Yeah, it's yeah. No, everybody get people in here because this is a game that you want to watch. It's Phantoms is going to be playing out of their mind. They are desperate to hold on here, and Gravity is going to be playing out of their mind because they are desperate to be the team to silence the ghosts.
Yeah, I mean,
horrible phrase.
We're to fade the ghosts away, which is also something they already do. But over here, round three will start on this joust taken by Phantoms, and we're on the final hour. I mean, this is the final week of the regular season. Going this entire season here for Phantoms with so much success and literally no failure in terms of the record sheet, at least. I mean, it's not showing anything but win, win, win. But they have to do it again and again and again here as we go throughout the third round, and we'll just see who comes up ahead. You know, Team Gravity has upset this team before in the preseason. Can they do it again, though?
I mean, you know, they bleed. So, you know, if you're going to, Gravity proving that they can draw blood. And, oh my goodness, what an opportunity there, but that one's going to bounce out.
You know, that's the problem, too. You know, some of these missed shots as well. You know, say that, oh, if only they had that one, which is the case. You definitely need to convert on those threes when you have the open lane because it's so rare. But that being said, because of the level of play here, it's understandable why you're in a rush to take shots because, especially for a team like Phantoms, you're never given an open window for terribly long. I mean, they're so quick with those double stacks. that you almost want to rush the shots because of that. But now rushing a pass down low to Torin. He's actually just going to slowly roll into that goal off of the initial quick passes, kind of freezing out the defenses with that slow moving.
It was actually a really nice heads-up play there from Torin. As Torin comes in, goalie was stunned out for a hot minute there. Torin comes in with it, but there's another defender there looking to back up the goalie. So Torin took the extra second to make sure he had the space to put it in on the top side there. There's a beautiful play there from Torin. Sneakily, very, very well executed.
And right, they're trying to find the clear through that initial stack, but you saw the secondary stack getting the interception for Phantoms, which is why I say it's a danger, and which is why I'm still surprised I don't see a ton of that necessarily in NA all the time, because it is so powerful, and it's just good for blitzing teams at times, especially on those defensive lanes, as we do get Lewis now backing it out. I mean, not to say that we don't see it ever, it's just, it's not to the degree that Phantoms have executed it, as well as Team Gravity at times, dating back to November at this point. But it's as I always say with these teams, you know, it applies to both Phantoms and Team Gravity. They know how to play it very, very fast. They also know how to play it slow. They know how to play the passing game. They know how to play the clear and boost game, just depending on what the situation dictates.
And right now, I mean, this passing from Phantoms right now is just on. It's crisp. It's accurate. And when they need to be quick, they're quick. When they have time to move with it, they move with it. And Torin has time to move with it. They're really uncharacteristic of Gravity to let Torin go unchallenged there behind the goal, but they do. And Torin takes that feed from Sundance, going to put it in for 2 and push the Phantoms lead up to 4 here in round 3.
And with 3 minutes expired off of this final round, Team Gravity launching out and trying to find some energy, if nothing else. A little bit of a slowdown here to start this one off, and just a kind of unforced error might cost them dearly, especially with that shot going off the backboard and then back out again as it's slung down, but a good recovery by Simon and a nice clear right through. But the question is the speed. Can they beat out this stack from Phantoms? It looks like that's the case because Phantoms do decide to go for the goal instead and cover that off, not allow any threes, maybe learning the lesson from round 2 there.
Just real quick, that shot, it's hard to state how close that backboard shot a moment ago was to going in. The way it bounced there, we're talking centimeters of difference would have amounted to a goal. That was so close.
As I always say, the margins are so small for error. You know, these an inch one way or the other, totally different results. One play goes another way. A lot of these matches that we've seen, especially over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of round 3s and OTs as right now, trying to punch out the defender there, and Simon gets the clear successfully. But it's hard. Echo Arena at this level, it's so fast-paced, it's so aggressive, and so draining at times. You have to maintain so much focus and play with a certain level. And right there, another narrow miss, but you can kind of see, too, if he had tried to take too long to regather himself, it could have been a tough shot as well. So it is very tough for these teams.
No, and it's one of those things. Like I've had it was a long time ago, but like there was I made a play once in a pub. I tried to take a shot off the backboard, and it didn't go in. I had a teammate not too happy with me, but I tried to tell him, you know, had I taken another moment, I would have had a player on me. That was the only shot I had, and so that's that's why they'll take what some might assume are. Not steez, but trying to be flashy with the shot. Really, it was just their only option in that moment, and it's the one they went with.
Yeah, and again, just gotta press every advantage you can, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But you know, either way, right now it's a very low-scoring third round compared to the earlier parts. You can see both teams a little bit in a scramble. We're seeing some of these ricochets off the geos and some of these missed passes and whatnot. So not an awful lot of scoring output compared to the 12-7 first round or the 14-11 second round. But either or, any score here for Phantoms will be all the more important, but another missed pass, and luckily rebounded due to the good positioning on the other side for Maddie.
You know, maybe one pass too many, because that last passer there definitely had an opportunity one-on-one with the goalie, but he went for the pass anyways. But they do still maintain control there. Sundance going to send that one in to Nillywick. Nillywick going to cut in and send that one in for the 2. And Phantoms are now up by 6 here, over halfway through.
Yeah, being stifled a little bit on the offensive scoring end here with the donut at 6 minutes in, which is a bit unexpected, but really it's applying to both teams. Neither one able to get into too much of a good rhythm now. And even there, a riskier than necessary pass perhaps, not really pressured by the defense from on the QB, but they will still manage to squeeze it through. Now the back line stack will get back out here and cover off now, splitting into kind of a zone or man coverage. And that's the dynamicism that you do see from this team sometimes, as Simon does try to just wiggle it through, jumping, but paying for it. Maddie, the steal.
Yeah, those sorts of moves, you can get away with them from time to time, but comp play, especially at this level with these teams, everyone's, the players you're up against, they know what it looks like when you're about to hop, when you're about to squat, how much room you're working with. And so, yeah, it's
hold on, working with some room there on the goal, but taking the shot early, Dimwi, and that one, you can see the rhythm again, as what we're talking about, just not in the kind of same zone that they were in round 2, where, they kind of collected after they made their first shot in that second round and broke that ice we talked about, but right now, a very thick layer of ice, and still scoreless with under 3 minutes left, but this is not a lead that can't be come back from, or broken down, I should say. On Team Gravity's end, they have plenty of time to score 6 points if they can get some good passes right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of time, 2.5 minutes, and it is a hill, though. I mean, I've talked about this on a couple casts before where, if you think about it, scoring 2 a minute, what a bounce there, but the goalie was ready for it. Torrin's going to send that one out. But if you do the math, scoring 2 points a minute in a game gets you 20 points. How often are you scoring 20 points in the game? And, Torrin is going to sink that one in, 13 meters out, good for the 3, pushing that lead to 9 now. So, yeah, this is the hill we were just talking about, just got a little bit bigger, got a lot bigger.
A lot bigger. The difference, especially with 2 minutes left, the difference between a 6-point disadvantage and a 9.1, both in terms of just the literal sense and the less tangible, the mental sense. 9 points does not do the mentality well at all. So it's not impossible, but now it is incredibly tough for them to come back here. And, we'll see if they can do it. 147 left, but just a very, very slow pace. Third round has played into the 50-50 advantage. Well, a lot of these 50-50s happen to go the way of Phantoms now, able to convert on more of these goals than Gravity, despite some mistakes from both teams.
Yeah, and speaking of mistakes, that back pass ends up into kind of a quasi-clear there. Gravity going to get there, get the hands on it. But as Lewis is taking the shot, he gets stunned out, so he can't get the full rotation on the arm. That one's going to get sent out. Phantoms are there trying to get to it, but it takes a goofy bounce. They're going to get sent back in the Phantom zone. Only a minute 10 to go. Gravity, this is, as the clock winds down, we're getting closer and closer to what do we call it? The mathematical time. And good stun there from Vitrex. They got to make something happen right here, right now.
And that deep shot will be off, maybe rebounded, but again, there's that time you talked about, the overshoot, not buying them any other opportunities. So getting the disc, taking a little bit of a train there, and the quick clear and boost as they climb and re-grab, going for one bounce shot. It's going to be off, but the time is just gone now, and that was, again, seeing the team go scoreless here as just 1 more point for good measure, or 2 more points for good measure as Phantoms. But seeing that unfold the way it did there, yeah, unexpected, couldn't get it going. And for Phantoms, it's like I said, every time you think you're seeing them bleed and maybe about to concede that round, they just come back and they win.
Yeah, it's some teams are good like that. It's almost like you kind of need to warm up and get into the flow of the team you're playing. And Simon, throwing out the flips there.
And you know what? Still, even the game conceded, still denying a score at the end, and a complete shutout in the third round after what was indeed a very, very good series. But Phantoms, they're on a different kind of level this season.
It's really, really interesting as I'm looking at the team stats right now. Possession time was taken by Phantom 7:58 to 7:14, but not more than a minute there. And with both teams pulling over 7 minutes, that's fairly close, 52% to 48%. Then shots taken, even more interesting. Gravity was 16, Phantoms with 13. So Gravity actually coming away with more shots taken in that game. And Phantoms just kind of proving their defense, their goalie play.
Yeah.
As you look at the stats there, player stats, Torrin coming away with 7 saves, and it's really hard to press how many that is in a game of this caliber, because you see it a lot around the league. Goalies will have good games where you get a lot of saves in the game, but it's not against a team like Gravity or Joker or Kang. And that's not to say they're not against good shooters. There's a lot of good shooters all over the league, but it's saying something when you're able to pull out 7 saves at this level. That Torrent is really making a case for himself as a goalie here. Not that he needs to, but yeah, that is absolutely phenomenal, and that's definitely a difference maker in this series. Maybe not in round 3, but definitely in earlier rounds.
Yeah, and some of those saves too, as well, were just early on, I think, as well, with those clears I talked about, the pile-ups, the defense playing aggressively for Phantoms, basically forcing Team Gravity to throw these clears or just getting rid of the disc quickly, and a lot of the time it was Torrent in that back line, so whether it was just intercepts or counting as saves, for a lot of those, just hanging back, and Team Gravity going for the right down the center kind of clear pass shot, whatever you want to call it. They throw it down center, Torrent intercepts, throws a clear or a pass of his own, and then Phantoms score. There were a few times, too, we saw, the aggression from Phantoms playing out there, conceding some open threes that were absolutely makeable, but then just barely grazing the rims, dinging off of it, and, just in that alone, probably, 9 points or so given up just on some of the missed open threes, which is going to happen to any player on any team on any given night, It's all about push and pull and kind of the rhythm of Echo Arena. You're not always going to be hot. But as I was saying, against Phantoms, to deny them the win and their flawless season, it would have really required almost flawless gameplay from any challenger. And just a few mistakes from both teams, granted, but as we've seen, even Phantoms, when they do bleed occasionally, they do make these occasional mistakes here and there, they still manage to collect themselves. They come back, they win. And as a result, here we are, end of Week 12 just about, rolling into this weekend, and Phantoms going 24-0 on the season.
Yeah, that is a feat. That is a feat that's going to be difficult to repeat moving into the future. Of course, undefeated season has not. I think it's well, at least the streak. It's not the first time we're seeing that streak in competitive play at Echo Arena, but it's the first time we're seeing it in VRML, and that's in Season 1. And I think as the league grows, as we move forward, it's going to be harder and harder for teams to try to repeat that in the future.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a hard precedent to break, or a hard. That's probably not the right words, but it's a
tough standard to live up to for sure.
Yeah.
And I think even for Phantoms, that's going to apply very much going into playoffs, into finals, into Season 2, when you have those kinds of expectations, when you have that kind of just dominance. It's one thing to be on top, it's another thing to stay there and just remain there, because again, teams are getting so good across the board as the meta develops, as the skill level and the chemistry develops in this 4v4 environment, that it gets tougher and tougher. And that's kind of the, I talked recently a little bit about the champion's curse, you might call it, of sorts, dating back to like my last win, which was way back at OC5 at this point. And, going from Season 2 of the ESL to Season 3, kind of a fall off, and struggled to get back, even though we finished third. That's still, when you maintain a certain standard, anything less than the best, it's like you're not living up to expectations. And then we see it from Kang Gorillas. They win Season 3 of ESL. They come into the preseason of VRML. They don't look like the Kang of old. They struggle. They eat some losses. They don't even make it to the finals. They just, much like my team back in the day, Kang Gorillas going into preseason, they missed just by that one single position. They were just outside that playoff berth. And then Illuminati, they win the preseason. They come into Season 1 of VRML now. And same kind of thing where they struggle a bit. They were the champions. And then there's a bit of a fall off going to the next season because, expectations, because of maybe letting off the pedal, whatever you want to call it. There's just so many factors that go in. So, I don't know. A little bit of an interesting note there that I'm observing. I think for Phantoms, too, they're going to go in with big expectations. And for them, based off this regular season for better or worse, anything less than the best is inevitably going to be considered just not to their standard. So that's a tough thing to set. Very long form way of saying it. But yes.
Yeah, no. I don't disagree with anything you said, but I have been looking over the playoff situation for Europe over the last minute, and I'm really curious. We got to get a final word on top 6 or top 7, because that's going to have. Because if it's top 7, I think we're basically set. Phantom, Smash Dash, Gravity, Vertigo, Vibers, Quackheads, Alphadots. Now, Smash Dash and Gravity still have a game to play, so they're going to be fighting for a second and third, but they're in. I think, is it Vertigo and Vibers are also playing? No, it's Vibers and Gecko. Does Vertigo have another game yet? I thought I saw them. No, Alphadox and Paradox. So yeah, Vibers with another game. They're playing against Gecko, so Vertigo with another game. So yeah, they might swap it out. No, it was Alphadox with another game. But yeah, basically, if it's top 7, they're basically set. They're top 7. Probably not going to change. They might shuffle within themselves. But if it's top 6, Quackheads and Alphadox, it's also ultimately going to come down to that game Alphadox play tomorrow. Where is it? I just lost it. Against Paradox. That's at 2 Central. I think that's at 8 o'clock London time. So yeah, Alphadox looking to, if they're taking top 6, Alphadox is going to have to beat Paradox, and even then, we're going to have to wait to see how it actually fleshes out in the MMR because of that rounding. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get a final word on that before that game, because then we can actually have that narrative going into the game, knowing whether or not they're fighting for that spot.
Yeah, well, for sure, and we're going to see how this does pan out over the weekend. We got a lot of interesting games still ahead, as you can see the ranks there for Europe. And we're going to pull up the schedule one more time here just to give you a look, because we have another one of those busy nights as for the next couple nights, for that matter, here in North America later this afternoon / evening.
Wit in the chat saying the semifinal word is top 6, so we might have a fight there, but that's not set in stone yet, basically.
All right, well, there we go. In any case, thank you for Wit for the confirmation. And now going off to the schedule for the rest of the night. Starting off with Infinite versus Flare. That's at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. And that will be casted by myself and Sputnik. So Infinite versus Flare. That's going to be a very, very hot match to start off the night for NA. Got the debut of Ace, I do believe, at least as the debut of their team, and that as a name. Let me see. Hold on. Checking a look at the roster. So yeah, that is the Cam Jam team. I was correct in that one. So changing the name up a bit again here. We've seen a lot of that, but they're going to be making their debut here as Ace. We got Creamy Milk and Legends. That is following that 30 minutes later, which is another one of those intriguing games in terms of seedings and just again that ever tight gold race. I mean, everywhere from gold to silver. And up until this week when Master Tier started getting secure, I mean, a lot of those different positionings really up for grabs. We got Invictus versus Mirage, Reboot versus Galaxy, Skull Crusaders versus Space Force, Ace's second match there versus Chaos, and what is a back-to-back for Chaos as they're facing off in a challenge match, Boosty Boys directly after to end the night. And that will be at 7:45 Mountain Standard, 9:45 Central. So that's what we're looking at for the evening. But other than that, any other parting words or things like that? Hi, by the way, to BTS in the chat saying it's Cruisin' best goalie. No, you are VTS. No, but you can both be the best. Don't make me pick favorites. It's never gonna work out. I can't do it. Can't do it.
And I was just gonna say I have nothing left to add. I could honestly talk about the NA situation for another 20 or 30 minutes, so we'll just hold off on that. It's something I can bring up and cast later today. For sure. During the NA. Yeah. So for this one, yeah, I'm all set. Yeah, it was a great game, really exciting game between these two teams, and yeah, I'm really excited as we end the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. And we're going to roll on to the weekend to do just that. So until then, thank you, everyone, for joining us today and across these European matches. Been fun. Congrats to the Phantoms on a flawless season, regular season. Just Incredible. Team Gravity almost there. And again, finals, it's going to be a different story in its own because we've seen that play out before. We'll see what happens there. But all interesting stuff. So appreciate you guys. Be happy, be healthy, be safe, be good to each other, and we'll see you again really soon.